ACA is a spiritual program, not a religious program, which means we avoid dogmatism, theological discussions, and grand testimonials about the miracles of God. We are not aligned with any religious, mystical, or spiritual system of belief. However, we believe it is imperative that the recovering adult child find a higher power to help him or her find healing from growing up in a dysfunctional home. We make no apologies for this great fact of our recovery program, but we also understand the struggles that many adult children have had with belief and faith. We are not pushing religion or spiritual beliefs upon anyone. We use the 12 steps, professional help, and a higher power to reclaim our wholeness. This is the ACA way. In step 3, it represents the sovereign right of every child to choose the God of his or her understanding. For the first time in our lives, we can finally think about what a higher power means to us rather than relying on what we have been told. Step 2 gave us insight into how many of us came to perceive a punishing or an indifferent God. In step 3, we open our minds to new possibilities. Some of us are comfortable with the word God for a higher power. However, other people will use Spirit of the Universe, Father of Light, Earth Mother, or the Divine. Others, ACA members who are still investigating their spiritual path, choose an ACA group as the power greater than themselves. Whatever we choose to call our higher power, we make a decision to turn our will and life over to its care on a daily basis. We turn over everything without bargaining with God as we understand God. We don't release some things to a higher power and hold on to other things. If we struggle with turning over our will and life to a higher power, we can begin by turning over our self-hate, self-doubt, or our fear. We can ask God to take our compulsions, resentments, and learned rage. Some of us will work up to turning over our will and life to the care of God. This is a process that we learn to trust. These step 3 shares also represent a deep well of hope and patience created by a loving God who has given us a program to restore our lives. It is a well of grace we can return to again and again and dip out self-acceptance, self-assurance, and love. Each time we take step 3, we drink down God's love. We replenish our inner child or true self. We come to believe that God hears our prayers and loves us always. ACA's 3rd step typifies our spiritual approach to the disease of family dysfunction. In ACA, we view our compulsive thinking and our dependent behavior as a spiritual dilemma rather than as a mental illness. We have no quarrel with science and medicine, which have made great strides in mapping and studying the brain. Such clinical work is of great importance in understanding human behavior and brain functions. We freely use such clinical labels as depression, panic disorder, bipolar, dissociation, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Some ACA members have been diagnosed as multiple personalities and as schizophrenic. We do not believe our brains are missing any elements. We start with the premise that we are whole and that we had a normal reaction to an abnormal situation of being raised in a dysfunctional home. Our normal reaction to protect ourselves has created survival traits, compulsions, and self-harming behaviors which respond to the ACA steps and spiritual remedies. We are not minimizing the severity of our situation as adult children. The disease of family dysfunction manifests itself as dependency, addiction, and dissociative personalities. This disease can kill. Every day, adult children commit suicide, die in addiction, or die one day at a time in silent isolation, thinking that they are hopeless. In ACA, we believe we were born whole and became fragmented in body, mind, and spirit through abandonment and shame. We need help finding a way to return to our miracle state. Whatever mental diagnosis we may have, we seek a higher power in prayer and ACA meetings in order to relieve our chronic nature of feeling different. We believe God understands the root of mental health labels and freely offers help to those seeking God's love and light. We believe in a spiritual solution for the disease of family dysfunction. In addition to a deep sense of shame and abandonment, we believe that most of our emotional and mental distress can be traced to our steadfast nature to control. In ACA, we realize that control was the survival trait which kept us safe or alive in our dysfunctional homes. We controlled our thoughts, our voices, and many times our posture to escape detection from an abusive parent or caregiver. As adults, we continue to control ourselves and our relationships in an unhealthy manner. This brings abandonment or predictable turmoil. We make promises to do better, but eventually return to our obsessive need to compulsively arrange, question, worry, dust, wash, lock, unlock, read, or hypervigilantly survey our thoughts and actions to feel safe. But it is never enough. Experience shows there is little hope and little spirituality in homes that are governed by smothering control. By making a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand God, we are actually making two decisions. By deciding to ask a higher power for guidance in step 3, we are also deciding to back away from control. We are surrendering our plans to run our own lives on self-will. We are asking God for help, which strikes at the heart of our instinctual reaction to solve problems on our own. The decision we make in step 3 represents one of our first true choices. Asking a higher power for help is not easy for adult children for many reasons. We knew asking for help as children was risky and could be quashed by parents who would not allow such talk. We were told that we were selfish or immature if we asked for help. We were told to be quiet. At other times, we were taught to doubt our perception of what was happening. As we grew older, the option of asking for help or thinking we could ask for assistance dissolved. By the time we reached adulthood, most of us avoided asking for help, thinking we were self-sufficient and beyond such needs. This attitude can be a major stumbling block for adult children trying to call upon God to heal the disease of family dysfunction in their lives. This is the same attitude that often stands in the way of us asking for a sponsor for help and ride out the uncomfortable emotions that accompany this risk. This is the same attitude that often stands in the way of us asking for a sponsor for help in working the 12 steps. If we are to get better, we have to quit playing God, ask for help, and ride out the uncomfortable emotions that accompany this risk. We play God and avoid asking for help in the strangest ways. Many adult children can play God by being philosophical about the origin of people, the cosmos, and mysticism, but we use this knowledge to avoid getting involved in our own lives. People come to us for our knowledge on spiritual matters, but we may feel phony because we realize we are not getting our own needs met. We only have ourselves to turn to for help. We cling to control. We have become knowledge gods who are sealed off from other people. Others can play God and avoid asking for help by appearing agnostic or atheist. They seem put off by any talk of spiritual matters. This does not mean that the views of the agnostic or the atheist mean less. These views are respected in ACA. But to use such positions to remain in isolation is a tough path to follow. We must ask for help if we are to break out of isolation and join humanity. We can't just talk about it. We have to let go of control and do it. We make a decision to ask someone to help us, and then we accept the help once it is offered. We cannot recover alone. We have to change this attitude of not asking for help if we are to make progress with step 3 and all of the steps. We understand that simply going to an ACA meeting and sharing our fears and our hopes does not immediately produce a desire to ask a higher power for help. Many of us still wonder if we deserve help, and others wonder if we will be rejected if we take this risk and ask. Other adult children are still angry at God for seemingly not intervening in their abusive or neglectful homes. Still, others wonder if a higher power exists at all. There is one way to find out. Make an effort and try. There is another way to live.